It's really important that still with social distancing, so that people still maintain that 1.5 metres distance between other people, that they're not part of their household group, and if they're going into a shop, that there's one person per 4 square metres. So I know that the retail industry has done a brilliant job. So in most places, they're assisting you by saying out the front of their shop how many people can safely go into that shop. That's really important. So we can't have mingling, because that's when we know that you can get transmission of cases. So really good news, and hopefully it will be all perfect and we'll be able to have more restrictions eased as we go forward. Thank you. It does indeed. So for Queensland to be COVID-free, we would have to have no active cases, and we would probably have to wait for 2 incubation periods to be sure, so that we weren't having cases come forward that hadn't been picked up. It's really, really important that if anyone has any symptoms at all of respiratory infection, so cough, sore throat, a fever, that they immediately go and get tested. That's really important, so we can pick up every case, because if we pick up every case, then we can work with the contacts of that case and make sure that we don't have ongoing spread. So it would be, to declare ourselves as COVID-free, we would need to have not only no active cases, but 2 incubation periods following that. It'll depend really on this weekend. So we'll immediately get feedback about what people have done. If we see large gatherings in places, that will concern us greatly and we'll have to rethink. If we don't, then we'll be able to fairly rapidly. Normally we need to wait around 2 weeks, but given we know that these measures shouldn't cause any increased transmission, because essentially it's the same group you live with at home that you're going out with. So in theory, we shouldn't have any problems, but we just have to see what people do to respond, because it's actually going to be quite difficult. I mean, I don't underestimate it, because if everyone decides on Saturday they want to go and buy a Mother's Day gift for the following weekend, we could have problems in our shops. So people need to use a lot of common sense, that where they go, they need to look around and think, is this actually safe? Have we got too many people here? And if there are too many, go away and come back. If they cross the border and it isn't for one of those essential purposes, then they'll have difficulty coming back. So they'll have difficulty coming back. I mean, crossing the border hasn't changed. All of those requirements are still in place.
If they drive 50 kilometres, is their radius then still another few kilometres? How does that work in 50 kilometre?
I think we can use a bit of common sense. I think that's fine. I think so, yes.
I've been calls from a lot of federal backbenchers from the regions to open up different in towns not touched by COVID.
Yes. Yeah, well, we're looking at those, like Dr. Young said, those 2 incubation periods. We are working on a whole range of measures at the moment, which I'll hope to update Queenslanders over the coming weeks. But also, too, one of the areas we're looking at is cafes and restaurants. We're going to be having detailed discussions with organisations during the course of next week. And of course, we're looking at what is COVID safe. Our general principle here is how is a cafe or a restaurant COVID safe? How are shops COVID safe, and how are schools COVID safe? So as long as we put in place all these measures and we continue to have that absolutely, flattening of the curve, I call it smashing of the curve, we're doing a really good job, and Queenslanders should be so proud of themselves.